All right, free radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave, and this is The Radical Independent. Thank you for watching this channel and for subscribing to it. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and my take on things might not be all that impressive compared to what other people are saying. I tend to speak from the heart, shoot from the hip, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. I am, like I say, a very moody SOB, so if I annoy you, maybe skip a video and then maybe watch the next video. I'll probably apologize for something I said in the prior video, and if I don't, well, that's because, there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance here and there, and obviously I am having withdrawals, not receiving my vodka shipment from Vladimir, because all of those products obviously have been stopped, and they won't be allowed into the country because of what's going on. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There's a lot of talk about Tulsi Gabbard being a vice president to someone. Not a lot of talk, but there's talk. And I helped initiate some of that talk, more or less to see where people's brains were. Tulsi Gabbard should not be running for vice president. And the reason is vice president is a job that's maybe a couple of steps up from MC at a nightclub or something, or maitre d'. Yeah, you get to be in charge of the task force, meaning that you're the face of whatever thing the president assigns you, if he even does that. Obviously, Joe Biden has had plenty of experience as vice president, and according to Obama, he was one of the greatest vice presidents ever. Well, that's not saying much. It's just like saying you're one of the best Walmart greeters ever. And even though I'm not trying to disparage Walmart greeters, that's not the point of this. They're kind of on equal playing field. That's what I'm trying to say. So when people say Tulsi Gabbard would make a great vice president, whether that was for Bernie, remember they're supposed to team up, Team Bernie, they're not going to pick Tulsi. And they're not going anywhere, so there's no need to pick Tulsi. And then, of course, Biden, people talking about, wouldn't that be a weird combination, and maybe that's exactly what Biden needs? No. He's not going to pick Tulsi Gabbard. Marching orders have come down from various forces within Clinton Incorporated. All right, and this is been choreographed. They were waiting for something to catch on. They were waiting for that point to coalesce. And by the way, I think this election is rigged out of its mind. There are things that I'm seeing now where states are being called before they're actually voting. All voting should be, like I said in the last two videos, all voting should just stop. There should be no more voting. There's no reason to keep voting. We've got a pandemic, and we've got election machines that are all running off of proprietary software. And I guarantee you, if you trace where that software ends up going, as far as its affiliations to the Democratic Party, you're going to find something that's just terribly evil. And, of course, the media is not covering it because the media is just covering the horse race. Here comes Biden. Well, Biden really did well in the debate. Everything's choreographed. So when people talk about Tulsi Gabbard being a vice president, I say, nope. Nope, Tulsi Gabbard for president, please. I'm sorry. It's like if you had a steak here, I'd be like, sorry. Tulsi Gabbard for president. What? President, not vice president. Well, she's got four. I don't care. Biden is. He's one like rickety staircase away from not being able to fulfill his duties. But what about Bernie? Well, Bernie is a hoax and a fraud. All right. I think he means well. At times, you could say that I think he means well, but on both occasions, a leader doesn't fold up. See, this is the thing. When people in the progressive wing of the party want someone who's not Trump. They're stupid. And I'll tell you why. Because Trump is assertive. He's bombastic. He basically clears the deck and says, hey, get out of my way. Bernie Sanders says, oh no, here comes my friend Joe. My buddy Joe. Joe and I are friends. Too much, dude. Too much. Do that. If you are going to do that after you beat him. And say, my friend Joe. He put up a good fight, but I beat him. That's the way you do it. That's the way politics used to be. Now it's, oh, any blue will do. No, any blue won't do. Only one blue will do. And unfortunately, she is running as a blue. I wish she was running as a green. Or a libertarian, or whatever. Her name is Tulsi Gabbard. And she's running for president. She's not running for vice president. For those of you who think it's a great idea, that, she maybe, this is so hypothetical, it's not going to happen, folks. The Biden thing has been preordained since the beginning of time, for crying out loud. All right? Biden's going to pick like a Kamala Harris type. And because he already said, I'm going to pick a woman, and it's probably going to be a very establishment woman. And Hillary Clinton used to gush about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, her campaign and her demeanor and everything really kind of mirrored the Queen. Was a lot like the Queen. I'm a top-tier candidate. No, you're a top-tier candidate who dropped out and got no delegates. How'd that work out for you, Miss Top Tier? But you may have been told, hey, if, you wait around, and as soon as our nominee is chosen, not voted for, but chosen by us, we'll think about, elevating you to vice president. We'll think about it. There were promises made. Come on, there have been promises made already. That's why she's so content to just, okay, I got no delegates, I got no votes, I'm losing everywhere. I was the front runner for a day. When I declared I was the front runner, and people were so excited. And then they started to hear me talk, and they're like, oh no, we had this in 2016. So Biden would probably pick Kamala. Biden's not going to pick Tulsi Gabbard. The foreign policy establishment would go ape crap. And Hillary Clinton, a couple of blood vessels would just, she'd fall straight down, and she might not get back up again. But you got other people out there who are all Hillary surrogates. Neera Tanden, she'd probably have a coronary. So my theory, this is the way I'm seeing things. And some people don't think the way I address this is strong enough. But it's Tulsi or bust. And if it's bust, which it could be bust, folks, because this is, people underestimate the strength of what this is. If they can preordain and pick and rig, and nobody's going to investigate it, and we're not going to go to war over it, which we probably should. I never would call for violence, but if we're not a democracy anymore, and we're not getting full-strength democracy, we're getting a bunch of elites choosing, because it's the same as a dictatorship. It's the same as all these countries that we supposedly make fun of. Oh, we're a democracy. No, we're not. We're not a democracy anymore. So I'm just thinking, if we can't do that, then the other option is to please get away from the two major parties and develop something powerful outside of the two-party paradigm. And I wish Tulsi would go there today. I understand why she's continuing to run as a Democrat. There are a number of reasons. I think what she really wants to do is get as much attention as possible and make the lives of some of these people not necessarily miserable, but it's kind of like when you're looking over your shoulder and you're like, uh-oh, is she still back there? It's the ultimate troll, number one. And number two, there is a possibility that something could happen to both of these candidates. Now, I've said in other videos, they'll go to Mayor Pete, they'll go to Elizabeth Warren, they'll go to anybody but Tulsi Gabbard. So her staying in doesn't help that cause. The only thing it does is it helps the American people understand that the process is rigged, the system is more crooked than Hillary Clinton, and there's no... In other words, it's like if you try every door to try to get out, and all the doors are locked, then you've got to find a way to break out. You know what I mean? You've got to put a hole in the wall. You've got to do something radical. And that would be, again, another political party. Yes, a new party or an existing party. Howie Hawkins is on his way to winning the Green Party nomination. And for those of you not very enthusiastic about Howie, I would say this: look at the platform. If you're against war, look at the platform. If you're against what happened with this currency manipulation that we're doing, we're basically monetizing our debt, and then we're injecting capital into a system that's broken and doesn't work. It's time for a hybrid economy, and I wish they would call it that. Don't use the S word, but they're going to use the S word all day long. It's a matter of branding and marketing. But he's on his way. And in the Libertarian Party, you got Lincoln Chafee who's running, who's a well-known quantity, who would be a sane, sort of steady leader, I believe, who's won, by the way, outside of the two-party system. He's been able to win as an independent candidate. But the reason I mention those people is because, folks, we're out of bullets. We're out of options. But for now, like I say, until she decides she doesn't want to do this anymore, it's Tulsi Gabbard for president, not vice president. There's no use for Tulsi as a Veep, okay? Now, I know Tulsi Gabbard, and the one chance out of like 100,000 that somebody would pick her as a VP. Would she accept it? That's the thing. She probably couldn't, knowing the warmongering policies of both candidates at this stage. And number one, Bernie's not getting there, and Biden, this has been completely, the way has been paved for Joe Biden. So a lot of this stuff is moot. It's just like me going in a circle here trying to reason. So we need to keep Tulsi out there just so some of us actually have representation, and it's like democracy. And it's almost like she's running in a third party in the Democratic Party. Kind of. But it's not really. But sort of. At least for now, in the primaries. And at the end of it, you really got to take a look at the Greens and the Libertarians. You got to. And if you want a more just economy, probably the Greens, because the Libertarians are going to tell you to go pound sand. They're going to tell you that the free market works great. Well, if the free market works so great, Libertarians, why does everybody in Congress want to inject money into the hands of human beings, me and my fellow, what am I going to call them, deplorables out here? Yeah, I mean, the money is supposed to get to us for once, and that sounds more like a Green Party thing than a Libertarian Party thing. But I like both parties. Check out my shirt here. I like them both. I just know in the end, all I'm doing is protesting a broken system. The first thing we need to do is fix the election system, the very first. And then in the now, as things are unfolding in real time, we need to shut all these elections down. I know some states are doing you can, like in Florida today, you can actually go get a ballot, fill it out, and mail it in. And the election is tomorrow. How is that going to work out? When are those ballots going to get counted? It's so disorganized and so wrong. See, I already voted and mailed it in weeks in advance. So that's a good thing about vote by mail. The bad thing about vote by mail, though, is if you do something like that and then there are events that change your situation, you might want your vote back, and you can't get your vote back. So, the premise of this video is Tulsi Gabbard not for vice president, but president of the United States. Any other thing right now, any other job for Tulsi would fall short. And I'm praying that she hangs in, because we need her voice during this crisis. We need leadership skills, and she has them. And it would be really silly if all of a sudden she just wasn't on the scene anymore. Somebody of that caliber who has this kind of resume, who can impact pretty much everything in a positive way. There's nothing that I've heard from Tulsi Gabbard that I go, oh, that's a dumb idea. No, it's just like one good, thoughtful thing after another. And you think, wow, how come more people don't know about Tulsi Gabbard? It's called a blackout. And see, that's why I dedicated this channel to predominantly doing Tulsi content. All right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Also, David J. Spurrier at gmx.com for one-time PayPal donations. I know it's rough out there, people. It's rough. I'm in Florida. There's a lot more stuff happening in this state today that is not encouraging. So hunker down with your loved ones and do the things that matter, but stay close to each other and keep the faith. Keep the faith. All right. See you soon.